now.
Okay, I'm Bev Damelin. I'm a healthy sex educator. I've been working in sex education for 17 years. And I started off coming out of public health, so I was doing a lot of work with unwanted pregnancies, with health, with rape crisis victims, and with various STDs, and I found that there was something missing in the discourse about sexuality. People wanted to actually talk about what healthy sexuality is, not what pathological, bad, problematic sexuality, but we're educated only to speak about that. So I studied sex education. I've been doing it for a long time. I've been working with teenagers, and I've been working with adults because there's a misconception that once you start having sex, you don't need any more sex education. And it's just the opposite. You need to. That's when you really need to start getting opening up the dialogue. And I just want to talk to people. I want to make accessible sexuality, so that people with special needs, people with limitations in how they can travel, in communities that they can't get out of easily, to reach out to those people, to bring it in a language that they can understand, and that they can feel comfortable, and just to open up the discourse and discuss it and keep on discussing it and keep on talking.
Thank you very much. Okay, we're looking forward to hearing your lecture now. Okay.
Wow. Okay, I hope it's discuss porn, and we'll discuss our relationships, and we'll discuss positions, but when we're alone, that is all of a sudden really embarrassing, and I don't know why. There's not. Should it be more embarrassing really than discussing what sex is like with another person? So there we go. We've got this the subject that we can't move around because we've got kids, specifically the boys, that have got testosterone levels up here, and there's just it's sort of a place where they're just doomed to fail when they're getting told their whole lives, like, you just don't do it. And when I was working in public health with smoking campaigns, the same thing happens when you come and tell people, that's it, if you smoke one cigarette, you're on the other side, you're a bad kid. You're not going to succeed in school, you're not going to, you're going to be on the other side of the tracks. They found there that if you could just learn that there's a difference between trying it once, between having a little bit, or having 2 packs a day. And the same thing here, if you treat it as something that you're fallen, where'd you go from there? Then Judaism can't be something that's right, or it's right or wrong, like when it's very grey. So from my point of view, this is a subject that I still have a lot of claims, I guess, of Judaism. How can we acknowledge this? How can we make space for it? Something that's for women certainly. I think for young boys, it's a real issue as they grow up. For young girls, some less, some more. But for adults, as we go into our adult years, as we get into relationships, suddenly it reappears. What about a relationship that is not sexually satisfying for both people, or that it's sexually satisfying but it's not enough for one person? And what about the need to get some sexual satisfaction on their own?
What happens if the partner's away for a long time?
Another great example.
Skype.
Well, now there's these vibrators that people can hook into an app, and the partner from the other side of the world can get the movement going. But for those who can't afford it,
I was going to say that someplace.
Can I say something? I think one of the things that makes it worse in the religious community is that in the secular community you have sports and other things you can get off your testosterone, but in certain parts of the religious communities, all you can do is study, or maybe study and some study, or something like that. And it's even, I think, worse there. I think that there are alternatives between, having no sex at all and doing masturbation, which are outlets for it. You should say something about that too. Sports are great.
I think when we look at sex, first of all, we've got to always look at it as a continuum. That there's so many different points, and that normality is a very, very wide thing. And I think that's something that gives people a lot of it calms them down, makes, especially for teenagers who are always trying to find their place on that scale of trying to be normal in this very, very strange world. To make more space for a lot of different divergences and options. But yeah, do we clash on this?
Oh, I was saved. People want to ask questions.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I actually don't really think you answered the question at all. She wasn't asking, is oral sex permissible? She was saying, why is there a law about whether or not it is permissible? Right? Am I correct? That's sort of what you're asking?
Yeah.
Not.
Yeah.
Going back to the question
Yeah.
before. Okay. As a religious person, as I said before, that's up to everybody, to answer where their religion steps in or steps out, or where they're happy to have their religion have hashpa'ah on their life. But a religious person takes God into consideration with everything. Now, I'm not going to answer you why, I don't want to embarrass. I'm not going to answer somebody else why they should know what Chazal say about oral sex. But if somebody wants to know, then at least it's there. Part of the problem is that people think that it's not there, that it's not discussed. And if you open up the Tanakh and the Gemara, everything is there, right? Absolutely everything. So it's a good question, but my answer is I'm not telling anybody, and I don't think anybody should tell anybody that they need God in their life at a certain place. But if they do, Chazal talk about it, and they have an opinion on it.
Can I just say?
Yes,
I think that people get confused because this question arises because people's concept of the whole issue of oral sex and things like that, it's not that it's not allowed, it's something that's kinky, or it's something that you read about in the magazines or something. So people suddenly start thinking, then maybe we shouldn't be doing that. That's why I think the question arises amongst religious people.
I think it even goes back a step more. I think there's a conservative belief that we're raising issues by opening them up. That if we didn't talk about them, they'd exist. At least some people wouldn't think about them. They wouldn't, if we never said the word masturbation, these young boys wouldn't think, oh wow, I can actually touch it. Exactly, like for some people they'll get along without, they'll just fall in the right place if they're with the right person. And I think that this is what we're challenging, because maybe there is a very small percentage of people that can come right on their own, that maybe they can figure it out, or but here it's all about this issue of we need to raise things, because there's problems that exist that if people are too embarrassed to raise, they're going to be stuck with. And there's worries that a lot of people have when they don't know that other people, that it's a very common thing, that other people are suffering from things, or sometimes it's just by talking about it, we're giving people, we're putting words out there. Sometimes, I know with me, clients turn to me, and I'm sure Natan has the same thing, that they don't have words to use. They say down there, they say, you don't even know what they're describing. So to give them the vocab, give them some kind of exercise in talking about it, and making it all, opening it up. I think then there's